Hi, I'm Tiffany, and this is Broke Girl Aesthetic. On this channel, I do budget-friendly DIYs, thrift flips and hauls, trashy treasures, and more. If you saw my tablet review video, you know that I needed a case for my tablet, so I just decided to make one. Stick around to see this no-sew Boho tablet case made for this special challenge. So I thrifted a Scrabble board set, or a Scrabble game. I've got some leather, some macrame cord, elastic beads, and I am going to make a custom tablet case for my new tablet that I got recently, and for the wireless keyboard that I bought to go along with it. So I'm going to take the Scrabble board out of the game, because that's what I'm going to use for this DIY. So now what I need to do is measure the Scrabble board to get an idea of how big I need it. The board is going to act as the support for the whole case. So I need to measure for the tablet, but of course it's going to be, the same size for the other side. And I'm also going to put a spine in there as well. So it's going to be kind of like a leather covered book, I guess. I spent some time on Pinterest looking for DIY tablet cases and couldn't find anything interesting to me. So I'm just coming up with it on my own. So I've got it figured out where I'm measuring. So I'm just going to draw a line all the way across so I know where I need to cut the whole board for the size that I'm looking for. It just happens to be right on the other side of that line. So pretty easy. I'm also going to go ahead and measure where I want my spine, how thick I want my spine as well. So I'm out with my scroll saw, and I am just using it to go ahead and cut my Scrabble board apart. It was a nice day, so I took advantage of that, and I wanted to be able to, this is thin, and I want to be able to get a nice straight cut, nice line. It didn't make sense for me to get my jigsaw out to cut this. And it's just bouncing everything all over the place. So I go ahead and cut that, and a spoiler alert, I do come back out and use it again because I realized I messed up on something, and you'll see that here in a few minutes. But that's pretty much it. I'm just cutting this apart. This video is part of the Power Up Collab. This is a collaboration that is hosted by Sarah from Can Sarah DIY It and Zaina from OK at Home DIY. And this challenge happens on the 11th of every month. And it's all about empowering women to use power tools to show that they don't have to be intimidating, and they're a great addition to your craft spaces. There is a giftaway, and each one of us has a secret word, so make sure you watch for that, and you'll have to leave that in the comment of every video in order to be entered to win. It's so much fun, and you will hear and see mine in just a little bit. All right, so I've got my pieces here ready to go, and like I said, this is going to be no sew. As you can see there, I'll have a spine, and it'll have enough room to put my tablet and my keyboard in comfortably, and it will fit together, especially after I get all, get the leather and lining and stuff. See, it's a pretty perfect fit there. And I used my scroll saw to cut that Scrabble board, but you could just as easily use a handsaw, perhaps, really good scissors, box cutter, X-Acto knife, anything sharp to cut that with. It's just, thick cardboard. So my next step is going to be cutting my leather piece. Just going to measure that out so I can get a good piece of leather, and this is actual leather, but you could use any kind of fabric you wanted. I just chose this because I happen to have it. So I'll spread this out, and I'm going to use a Sharpie to, you know, kind of measure and get an idea of how I'm cutting this. As you can see, I'm giving myself a little wiggle room here for folds and overlap or whatever. So I want to give myself about 1/2 inch-ish. I don't know. I don't measure. I ended up laying down my cutting mat. And yeah, it is 1/2 inch. So I go about 1/2 inch all the way around to give me, yeah, room to cut. And I'll just use a black Sharpie to draw in my lines there, which I guess I don't really need to do since I'm going to use the ruler anyway. So I'm using my rotary cutter so I can make some nice straight lines. Yeah, really easy. So now it's time to get this glued together. Laying my pieces back out. If I had it to do over, I would have made a wider edge. It is a little thin, as you can see. So trying to line it up where I want it, and so I can, you know, get decent overlap and still have room, you know, getting the general idea. While my glue gun is heating up. So I'm going to go in with a combination of this tacky glue and hot glue to adhere the leather to the Scrabble board. And coming up is where I messed up. I shouldn't have done this. I missed a step, and you'll see. Now I've got it glued together, and it's perfect. Almost. So I'm going over the top there, or, you know, flipping it over the yes, words. Gluing the edge of this, and I will cut the corners so they fit flush. But I'm just hot gluing this part down. I didn't use tacky glue here. And I am using Surebonder glue sticks, so pretty darn secure. I just go around all the edges with the glue. And here I'm cutting the corners, just snipping those bits off so I can glue them down nice and tight. And like I said, just getting these corners tight, using a finger protector to help. Right, there it is, all put together. And I'm trying to realize where's the moment when I came to the conclusion that I had messed it up. I don't know if I got it on camera. However, I do know that once I figured it out, I was cussing up a storm. I think it's right about here when I realize I forgot. I needed to cut the hole out for my camera. So that's what I'm going to do next, and I'm going to use the scroll saw for that. So I'm just going to use the scroll saw to cut out the hole for my camera lens. And I need to pop out the top part of my scroll saw blade. Now, this is a flat blade with a little pin at the top. The newer ones take spiral blades and different kinds, but this one is old. I picked it up at a thrift store for like 20 bucks, and it does not use those kinds of blades, so I'm stuck with what I have. But I'm, you know, I'm happy with it as it is anyway, and there's a little bit of a learning curve, but I don't think it's too hard. I don't really use it for anything but cutting straight lines, so this is really the first time I've used it to cut out a shape from like inside something, you know. I'm sure if I play around with it somewhere, I can figure it out pretty easy, you know. So I'm just cutting out that hole, and that's basically it. So next is reapplying the leather, and I'm just going to use my craft knife and some scissors to cut the hole in the leather, and I can glue it around glue it around there and make sure it's a good fit for the camera once the tablet is there. So I'll continue on with that, applying re-gluing down that leather, and then the next step will be adding the liner. So here I've got my liner material. It's like a kind of like a thin suede material, and I'm just going to use some of this Dollar General tacky glue and some hot glue to glue this down. Now, if I knew then what I know now, I would have done things differently, as is the case most of the time with projects like this. Making a mess, that's par for the course. I would have done better with the elastic. I wasn't thinking when I had already glued the elastic down, and I didn't prepare for the liner. So if I had been thinking more properly about it, I would have done this a bit differently. So what I did was I slid a hole through the liner so I can stretch out and glue my elastic down. Now, I'm using the hot glue, and usually with fabric and, a porous surface like this cardboard, I find that it adheres and it stays pretty well. And since it's not going to get like repeatedly stretched and yanked on and pulled, I think it'll last for a little while. And I am using these Sherbonder glue sticks for that. So, another level of security for, in my opinion. I think it'll last for a while. And I've fed it through there, and now I can continue gluing down. And I do the same thing on the other side for the other elastic. And once again, I have to make sure I cut out for the hole for the camera as well. And I will do that too. All right, now I have that cut out and ready to go, and I can just slide the elastic right in there, just like that. And as you can see, there it is. You can see the camera through there. And I mean, I could just call it a day right here if I wanted to, but I have more I want to do to it. So I will go ahead and continue tweaking. And as you can see, the hole is in place proper for this. So I can take a picture. There's no, see now it does kind of shift up if I'm not careful, but again, if I knew then what I know now. But it'll work for what I'm doing, so. And it's my first try at this, and I probably will make more because it was fun. So now I need to do another elastic for my Bluetooth keyboard, and I will do that so I can just slide it right in there. Like that. And I'm also going to take another piece, and I think I'm going to layer in between the tablet and the keyboard just to prevent it from scratching because I don't have a screen protector. So I'm going to take the same ultra suede material and just glue a chunk in there to protect it from the keyboard. I was going to try and make a pocket, but that wasn't working out so well. And as you can see, I did put a second piece of elastic at the top to hold the tablet in place, and I believe the tablet is in there. I can't really tell. Yes, it is. Again, just measuring my elastic for my keyboard. Just give it a little bit of a stretch, see about where I want to cut it. And then I can tack that down and slide the keyboard in. Right now, as you can see, I've got my elastic for my keyboard, and I've got my cover glued down in there. So that's ready to go. And next is on to the fun part, decorating. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do some iron-ons using my Cricut. I'm going to put some designs on there to make it look really neat. So I'm going to work on that. I'm going to add a little flap here to hold it down. I'm just using some button magnets to be my clasp to hold this together. And I will just hot glue all that together. Now for the design, I've got a little clasp here, and what I'm going to do is use my Cricut, and I'm going to cut out some heat transfer vinyl, and I'm going to do some really pretty boho mandala. Mandala? Is that how you say it? Those flowery, really cool things. Anyhow, I'm going to use some white heat transfer vinyl and cut those out. I've already designed them in my Cricut design space and have them cut specifically for the dimensions and all that stuff for my projects. I'm just open Cricut design space on my tablet. And this is a tablet that I reviewed recently. And it's a little slow, but it gets the job done, and I'm okay with that. So I'm just opening up my projects. I have everything saved, and I love how everything is it syncs automatically. So I open my project. And these mandala files, I think I got from Creative Fabrica, I believe was where I found those. I have a link to Creative Fabrica down there in my description box. Membership is really a great deal, and there's bazillions of different files that you can get, fonts, SVGs, all kind of good stuff. So you can see I have it already designed, what I'm going to cut out. So it shows where they're going to cut out on my mat. That's exactly what I was looking for. And I end up actually messing this up, and I do have to fix it later, which I don't do on camera, but it all works out in the end anyway. So connecting my Cricut. Here we go, everything's cut. You can't really see it because it's white, and yeah. But I will go ahead and cut these apart and weed them, and it's going to take me forever. And it did take me forever because they're very, very detailed. So I will jump to where all that's finished. And now I have them all weeded. They are gorgeous. And now it's time to iron them on to my tablet case. And this is a rawhide leather, I can't remember, and I realize I did this backwards in this corner, but I fix it before it's over. This one is fine, this one is correct, the other one I messed up, but I make it work later. So as you can see, this is not how this is supposed to look. This is okay though. So I go ahead and get these positioned, and then I will use just my iron and press them on. So I'm just going with it. So I'm using a piece of parchment paper, and I'm using press cloth. It's really just thin, like a sheet, like a very thin sheet to press this down. And again, on the high heat, no steam or anything, just pressing that. And I will do that with all of them, and I will show you how that looks when it's done. I'm going to make a handle for my little case. It's going to kind of look like a purse, I guess. So I'm taking this really thick wire. I can't tell you. I think I got it from Amazon. I don't remember. So I'm going to take 2 pieces and I'm going to thread some wood beads on, and those are going to be the handles. So I will go ahead and make those and glue those on to my tablet case. So here I've got my handles assembled. I just wrapped the little loopy end pieces with some extra macrame cord because metal and hot glue don't really go together. So I wanted to make sure I had something that it would adhere to, and I'm just gluing it down. And I'll do the same on the other side, and then I'm going to line the whole thing with some thick macrame cord. It'll hide the seams, and I don't know, I just thought it would give it a kind of a cool look. And there it is. I fixed that that one iron-on there. As you can see, everything was put together. I like it. I'm going to make more of these because it was really fun to do and it was easy, kind of. And you know, I can't go without. It's not done. I got to make a tassel, so I'm gonna put a little tassel on here with some beads just to give it a cute little finishing touch. And that's that. And let's look at the final reveal. Here is the final result of my Boho tablet case. I think it turned out pretty good for first try and kind of winging it, not following any directions or anything. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments below. Special thanks again to Sarah and Zaina for a fun challenge. All of the links are in my description box. Make sure you go check them out, and the link to the playlist. Go like, comment, subscribe, spread the YouTube goodness. And don't forget that my secret word is scroll saw if you're going to enter into the giftaway. Yeah, I really like it. I can't wait to make some more. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great weekend. Take care, y'all. Bye.